Leeds are falling apart again. Leeds are falling apart again. How we doing, boys?
Very well. Welcome to the Paddock podcast, the only Paddock podcast where it's me, it's Stephen Howson, it's Adam McCullough, and it's Jay. But you only get any three of us at one given time because one of them is guaranteed not to be here. My name is Joe. I'm joined today by Jay Motty. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm glad to be in the presence of, the esteemed duo that is the best show on this channel, as I'm constantly reminded.
Paddock Piss Take, yeah, sure. And I'm also joined by Adam McCullough. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Just
doing good?
readjusting myself.
Very good. Feeling better now?
Yep.
Feeling strong?
Yep.
We're talking about Leeds there. Man United beat Leeds yesterday. Quite comfortably, in fact.
Comfortably.
Let's get straight into it.
Why not?
You weren't here for the post-game stuff yesterday. You were off with your friends from a different school.
London,
You've come up with this hashtag, Adam. 21 is coming. Man United are going to win the league again. Talk us through it. Are Man United actually going to win the league? Because let's not talk about winning the league. How impressed are you with United starting the league this season?
Can I let you in on a little secret?
No.
The first time I ever tweeted it was under Mourinho.
I knew it would be. I said this to you before, but you've been tweeting it for ages. Oh, for God's sake, it's a cursed hashtag.
And I refrained, and it was as a joke then. And it started as a joke this season. I remember when me and Steve did our predicted tables, I put United on top. And I said 21's coming because 21 is next year, 2021. And
when 20 becomes 21, I've heard that line said so many times around this office. It's like,
it's a tune up.
It's like think of the genius behind it. When 20 becomes 21 in the years, 20 becomes 21 in the titles.
You get it?
Yeah,
I get it, mate.
I get it now.
It makes so much sense.
It makes
Meant
sense.
to be.
I didn't know about that, but now I do.
Like, remember in 2008, it was 50 years from 1958 Munich,
60,
and we won it.
Yeah.
It was 40 years from Thingy.
Yeah.
No, from 58 the Munich Air
Okay,
disaster.
so
68 was
60,
the European Cup. I know my history, unlike you. Sir Bobby Charlton's birthday, the treble.
Yeah.
Busby's as well, I think, was one
Sorry,
of them.
Sir Matt Busby's birthday. That was the one. I know my history.
Forgot his history and then remembered it again. Thanks to Jay. Cheers. History for you, depending on
Always
whether I know it
changing.
or not.
Interpretation.
Yes, sober history brought to you.
So
by
this
Stretford
year,
Paddock.
you are looking once again for some sort of outside influence on
I'm
Manchester
looking for
United's title.
signs.
Right.
I'm not sure what I see.
I saw the signs last year, though.
Did you?
Well, was it last year?
Are you telling me
What, the,
you see
No,
the
2000. It
signs?
wasn't last year. It
M.
was
Night
2 years.
Shyamalan film.
No, it was last year. It was last year. 2019. I was like, we're going to win the Champions League. 20 years on from 99. Ollie's at the wheel. We're going to win it. It's written in the stars. And obviously we didn't.
Did we not?
Do you remember when I told you something in 2013? I'm sure I told you it.
Go on. Remind me.
I used to have...
Go on. Spit it out.
You see,
I'm going to hate this, aren't I? I can already tell.
I used to have this weird image.
Right.
Maybe you could make this for the fun. I used to have this weird image. I don't know, one day I just pictured Moyes with the Champions League trophy. And I remember saying to someone, we're going to win the Champions League this year. Under Moyes.
Why?
And then when Evra scored in the Allianz, I was like...
I'm sure you said that to me, actually.
See, I said it. I said it.
I'm sure it was around that time as well. Like, not obviously after, because we didn't have any time to talk to anyone after Evra's goal, because they equalised straight away.
So this was some like
After I might be
vision came to
after
you,
the
Bernie
Olympiacos
Bush.
game or something. It was like when we came back from 2-0 down. You know what?
I could just picture him in his suit.
I mean, I didn't
Champions
agree with
League
this
trophy.
nonsense, but what on the museum tour?
Did he by any chance have a West Ham badge?
Yeah.
Suit?
Or like,
Is he got a chance next year?
yeah, because
No, but I
no chance of
genuinely...
that.
So, obviously, I picture things that don't happen.
So you're consistently delusional about United's chances of winning.
Oh,
trophies.
mate, if we're not allowed to be delusional, if we're not allowed to believe and hope and wish and pray for things, it's like Andy said in his fan cam, like, daring to dream. It's a very Tottenham
Rightly so, isn't
statement, but
It's true.
we should be allowed to. And whilst it is started off as a little bit of a joke, sorry for shouting in your ear, whilst it has started off as a little bit of a joke, I'm starting to believe it.
Most true things are said in jest, though, as you well know.
Yeah, it is.
I'll tell you is a believer, brother.
Justin.
You Hulk Hogan.
Roy Keane.
I'll come for you,
Roy
brother.
Keane's a believer, and if someone scrolls up, I'll tell you exactly what Roy Keane said.
What did he say?
He said, they've been winning games, and that's all you can do. United are in a great position, considering how slow they were out the blocks. If United can get their house in order at home, there's no reason why United can't stay up there. I think Liverpool are still the best, but there's no reason why United should be fancying their chances in terms of pushing Liverpool.
You know what's annoyed me about this whole thing, that whole statement there? Bring it back.
Bring it back.
That he said, I hate things like this. It's just annoying.
I
I'm probably annoying. If United can get their house in order at home, where else is your house?
Also, that seems like a very American phrase to me. That seems like a
house at home.
Get your house in order.
If they can get their house in order,
Yeah.
obviously.
They can get their house in order away.
Also,
then
he's kind of just saying if United can win loads of games, they might win the league. Really, we need a
no, but he's right in what he's saying. Their home form isn't good enough.
Of course, but if you say, if United, here's what I'll say: if United can, win pretty much every game between now and the end of the season, I think they'll win the league. Like, we want you to say whether you think they will, not what are the set of circumstances for us to win the league. We know that.
We want Keno to
win
put a
loads
tweet
of games.
out.
Yeah.
Hashtag
21. Imagine him on Twitter.
21 is coming.
Imagine him rowing people.
Yeah.
Like Stephen Housen on acid.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
Like,
Oh,
Keno,
God.
like,
I'd love that.
Oh, God.
I know, I get where you're coming from because it's almost a nothing statement, but it's the fact that he's even suggesting it
fact that
because
he's
it's
been
him.
asked about
Because it's
it.
him that's the thing. Because Keane's Mr. Negative in it, but like
We've got to
no
kind
chance.
of err on the side of caution. We've seen Everton, Spurs, Chelsea all go from title contenders to not. Now, what I would say is we have got a squad that can beat anybody in the league against anyone at any time. But no,
Everyone
we can.
except Liverpool.
We can.
When's last time?
They can beat us though, and everybody else can beat us as well, and that's the problem. Like we got West
we could
Brom
draw.
coming up soon, Villa at home, Wolves at home. You fear for those games because you don't know how we're going to approach them, how we're going to perform. We're too inconsistent, and we also don't know. You see how 21 is becoming a thing now. We're going to fool ourselves into actually winning the league, but like imagine in March. How that's actually becoming a thing, how the players respond to that. Because I'm started saying 21 is coming, and because I'm actually thinking, there's a little bit of a chance we could challenge here. I'm more nervous for the games
Me
now.
too, I'm shitting myself.
Like I'm shitting myself for the Leicester game. So imagine you're now a player, and you're seeing this possibility that hold on, we could challenge here. That's when it's gonna the real question of, can you handle it at Manchester United is going to be asked of these players.
I suppose the other question is, what is more likely to help the players or to hinder the players? Is it this pressure of 21 is coming? Actually, you know what? We've got a chance here. You know what? It's not just top four. That should be a given. It should be, let's be within touching distance of Liverpool. Will that hurt them more? Or will, every time we lose, you need to leave, McTominay's not good enough, don't play Pogba again, swap Martial for anyone in the summer, Rashford's only good one in 4 games. They seem to be the only options we have here. It's either we're all expecting him to win the league or every time we drop points, we're shit. I wonder, at Man United, if you can ever really have a gentle, just a nice sort of soft, we're doing well. We're doing quite well. I like these players. They're doing quite well. Oh, look, we've won the league. Or whether it's always going to either be mental criticism when we lose and blind optimism when we win. I think that's just when they talk about the pressure of playing for Man United or the pressure of being at Man United, that's it.
A lot of it is external. And when I say external, I mean from people that aren't connected to the club. So they're not a fan, they're not a player, they're not a manager, they're not a staff, etc. So
do the players, like what you're talking about, people like have such extreme views, does that filter through to the players though? Because there's no crowd in the ground, right? Are they on social media? Are they all paying attention to social media? Do they care? Do you know what I mean? Like, because that's the only reason. Where else are you getting that sort of that information from?
they'll know.
Do you reckon?
And it's in the newspapers, and the fact that Roy Keane's talking about
but
it.
is it in the newspapers though? In terms of like, but somebody's got to be dropped for Pogba. Is that in the newspaper?
No, that stuff isn't in the newspaper. But so what starts off as McTominay's got to be dropped, or why isn't Pogba playing, or Ollie's out of his depth, starts on social media, and then that question gets asked on 5 Live or on TalkSport or wherever, as we see a lot of people criticising Ollie. McTominay. You saw it yesterday. Micah Richards, when he was talking, who I think he's good.
He's shit.
He's an
awful pundit. Though.
I like that he,
because he laughs a lot.
Yeah, but I like that he has a bit of energy.
Oh, Keno smiles.
But I like that he has energy that isn't just dour, soonness. Like, all pundits have to be completely serious.
His
all the time.
punditry is awful, though.
Okay, regardless of whether you like him or not, he said yesterday, McTominay, he's a great player. Or, he had a great game. Having to correct himself for saying that Scott McTominay is a good player because for so long he's been criticised in social media or wherever that filters down and becomes a slightly different talking point depending on who's saying it. It's not going to be Michael Richards going, well, McTominay's normally shit, isn't he? But it was all right today. But that's the point that he put across.
So you think that would get filtered through to Scott McTominay?
Yeah, because Scott McTominay might watch Match of the Day. Or Scott, you know, the players
and
might
you
watch
think
Match
he
of the Day.
cares?
Scott
What,
McTominay
would care.
Michael Richards is saying that.
Whether
I'm not arguing with it. I'm asking you a question.
whether he
Do
would
you think
care
he'd
or
give a
not,
toss, like personally,
they
that
see
what
it.
Michael Richards is saying there?
But it's not about whether McTominay cares or not. Some players will.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Not every. It's like 3 of us.
I don't
sat
think
here,
Nemanja Matic,
right?
for example, would look at social media or give us shit. But I think someone like Jesse did and does, and I think it might have even affected him.
Yeah,
exactly.
Schneiderlin used to like fan cams. Like
Really?
like when
Not once when I was on when he was fucking playing.
like he like when at the start when he came in and did well, he was
Yeah.
liking like the early fan cams, and then he stopped. But that doesn't mean that he wasn't watching them.
we know
still.
like certain players.
Like
have
no,
liked-
Jesse.
yeah.
Once
But-
Jesse
but-
DM'd me saying, "We just lost against City or Arsenal," and he DM'd me like, "Oh, just watching the fan cams, feeling gutted."
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
they
No,
are
I
fans.
know he does. He's the prime example, and I think it's actually affected him. My question is, did the team or the players, does that those extreme views that Joe's talking about, does that filter through to them? Does that affect them, or are they able to just go? You know
I
what?
think
I'm playing well. I don't really care if Michael's his brother. Michael Richards says that, or if Martial _ 1987 says I should be dropped for Pogba. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not going to get to me.
I don't know. I think they will see it, and whether it's like, oh, that's it then, that's my career ruined. I can't believe they said this. I doubt. But we've heard players come out in the past and say, I had to turn off social media. I had to have a team do it for me. I couldn't watch it anymore. We've heard players talking
Tom
about this. It's
Cleverley's one of
definitely,
them.
yeah, exactly.
Tom Cleverley was massively
It's
affected
definitely
by
something that affects
Well,
people.
hopefully things like that. Keno, who
Yeah.
you think they'd respect, some of them will know. I know they'd play with him, but they'll know him. That might have a sort of
Things
positive
change
effect.
very quickly though, and that's
What do you mean?
like in 3 weeks' time, we could have lost against
Do
Leicester.
you remember,
and
do
Wolves.
you remember last season? Do you remember the first game of the season, the fan cams? Chelsea 4-0. And the podcast afterwards. And it was like, it was in jest, but there's a little inkling where you're thinking, you never know. And then no.
4 games later, Liverpool were 10 points ahead of us.
I remember
So it was
going Van Gaal first season.
Before
Pre-season, we'd battered everybody.
Yeah, and before the
then
game,
we lost
before
against
Swansea, I was like, mate, and I remember my mate saying to me, I've just put a bet on us to win the first 6 games because we had like Burnley, Southampton, Swansea, right? And I was like, it's not a bad bet that. He's like, yeah, Black, they've got a special offer on 20 to 1 or whatever. I was like, oh, you'll clear up. We lost that game. It's like at home to Swansea, and you're like, right, okay, that's out the window. So
sad.
yeah, you never know.
Lingard
But-
got injured that game and then went on loan.
Didn't he?
Random memory.
Do you think that this pressure that gets put on them, like we said there, about whether it's really good or really bad, do you think there's any way to avoid that? Not as in as a player, but do you think when people, like I said, when people talk about the pressure of playing for Man United is different, do you think that's just always going to be there, or can we expect and hope for a bit more level-headedness, or is there no way that that's going to happen?
Manchester United is also always a talking point, so it depends on how you are as a person, which is what I was trying to say earlier. It was like, it all depends on the individuals. I think there are some individuals within that team that will be fine, like with the talk. We'll be able to handle, Bruno will be fine. I think Pogba, Cavani, you look at these lot, but for some of the others, the Rashford, Marshalls, Greenwoods, even McTominay, they've never been involved in a title challenge before. They've never been expected to even challenge before. So with some, again, light-hearted kind of, but it comes from somewhere, and it comes from the fact that there's an opportunity here. Liverpool aren't going to get as many points as they did last season. They will drop more. And therefore, whilst they are huge favourites, like Keno says, there's going to be, or there will be a possibility, or I think there will be a period in this season where we think, ooh, they're creaking a bit. And they're under pressure. And it's up to someone to put that pressure on them. At the moment, Spurs ain't doing it. Chelsea ain't doing it. None of these teams are doing it. It's up to us. And the thing is, I'm disappointed that no one's making more of the fact that they're going to level up with us. Because it's almost like, well, it's going to happen. United ain't going to win the league, so of course they're going to level up with them. It's not become a talking point because it's where it should be. And within Carrington, within the dressing room, I want those players fucking... Boys, fucking got to get these, like it's going to be 20-all this year. Like, there doesn't seem to be any of that urgency from the club. even boardroom level, like you have lost. Okay, imagine you told Ed Woodward you can no longer say you're the most successful team in England, which they won't be able to anymore.
No.
That's out the window. So one of your big selling points, I'll tell them in a language that they understand, is gone. Purely from a fan base point of view. Look how happy we were when Berbatov led us to number 19 and we went clear of them and, you know, come back when you've got 18. They said, we're back with 19, motherfucker. Like, all those things, and then get into 20, and then all that hard work to just be tossed out the window. Ollie, even if we come up short, Ollie, the players, everyone, they need to be saying, like, I hope they've had a meeting and said, boys, fucking come on, man. Pull yourselves together and let's try and win as many, like, fucking take it. I know it's cheesy, but take each game at a time. Fucking try and win as many as possible. Because we can beat everybody in this league.
The thing is, as well, a lot of them players, not all of them, but, you know, will have been at the club. Anyone that's came through the youth will have been at the club when we've been title winners. Like Marcus, Mason, Paul Popper, when he was first around. You've got other players that will have joined sort of just after Fergie. Yeah, De Gea won it. Do you know what I mean? Matic won it with Chelsea, all right, but he's got that mentality. So, but the point is, like, you go to United, or, you know, when you're a kid or when you're younger, you'd be thinking, if I get into this first team, I'm going to be challenging for titles. When you spoke to Jesse a couple of years ago, he was saying, you know, that's the mentality. That's what I want to do. I want to win a Premier League title with Manchester United, and that's what we should be doing. And you think a lot of players will still think like that. Like, you know, I'm not just there to challenge for top four. You know, the dream is, and the way it should be at a club like Manchester United, and the way it's always been, is you're challenging for titles. So you'd think that they'd have that in the minds anyway. Now, it might not necessarily be this season, but you would think that sooner or later we've got to get back to where we were. Do you know what I mean? Because we can't be going through another you know. I mean, I always sort of had it in the back of my mind. I remember in '93 when we won it. I remember my dad and his mates, like and he used to go home and away, and they're not like Shrinky Violets, like being emotional and in tears because he waited so long and seen the Scousers win it every year. And
honestly,
all this.
If we won the league this
year,
year,
I mean?
I could
what?
quite easily be.
Yeah, and what have we had? 7 years or 8 years, whatever. And like they went through 26, and not just to go through 30. That, but 26 years. So, I mean, like United with 26 years, but to see the Scousers keep winning it, and then you know, a couple of Everton or Forest or whatever win it, but then the Scousers just dominated. It was horrible. So you think that could never happen. I've been thinking that never happened to us when we started winning title after title. And you think, well, it can if you don't have that mentality. If you don't think, do you know what we should be going for is the title. And okay, you might not get this year, but maybe next year's a year or whatever. You're building it up, but certainly that should be in your mindset, not just in this mint with top three.
Yeah, and something else I think to reflect on already, and to look at, even, you know, no matter what happens at the end of the season, when you're talking about progress and when you're talking about a manager improving a team and progressing a club, it's not always, let's look at the final league table at the end of the season. What position did you finish? And that is the only marker of progress. Because that's, whilst, you know, if you don't win the league, 4 is the same as 3rd, is the same as 2nd. If you're just looking at the table, because did you qualify for the Champions League or not? But when you're actually living week to week and you're watching the team and you're seeing how they play and you see the statistics of how many times we score 3 or more goals or how many times we score 5 or more goals, and you look at the fact that 13 games in, which it's a third of the season, it's not a whole hell of a lot, we are within touching distance of the top for the first time since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. That is progress. We are already seeing progress this season. We didn't have that last season. I think we were 15 points off top already last season after 13 games. So we are progressing. And when people want to look at the manager and you want to look at the team and all that sort of stuff and say, oh, you know, is it progress under Ollie? Let's say we finish 4th this season. Theoretically, that's worse than last year. But already this season has been better than last season, because at no point last season were we anywhere near the top of the league. After 3 games, we couldn't win it. Like, this is much better than last year already. And obviously, if we finish 5th, then maybe you can say, we've gone backwards. But so far, this has been really good.
No, I
think people are only suggesting we could challenge as well is because it's not like last season, in that the way the campaign's been pushed together, the way, you know, fixture pile up, injuries, everything. That's the only reason we're considering it. If Liverpool were playing like they were last season, even though they're playing very well, and City would, I don't think anyone would be expecting us to keep up to pace with that, because we're not good enough, quite frankly. But we are good enough to potentially get 70, 80 points. Do you know what I mean? We are good enough to beat most teams in the league. we do have, like, we've got this close. Marshall, Greenwood, Cavani, not really brought anything yet to the team. Like, I know
output-wise.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, they've played very few games, or they've not played at their best. Cavani did against Everton, but we've seen very few of him. In the midfield, Pogba, Van der Beek, still so much more to come from them. Like, there's so much more to come from players in certain positions for us that our squad will be in better shape at some point in this season. So that's what gives me the hope that we can do it. We still massively underachieved in the transfer window. And if we actually did well in the transfer window, imagine how much more positive we'd be looking at this at the moment.
Yeah. Like, you know, if Sancho would have made the difference between a draw at Chelsea, at home to Chelsea, and a win, or if, you know, Grealish should have made the difference between losing 1-0 to Arsenal and drawing or winning that game.
How good is he, man?
You know what I mean, though? Like,
you see him yesterday.
Some great players could have already helped us pick up the 2 points needed to, you know, theoretically be level with Liverpool.
And that's a good point, because, I mean, I know we've had these briefings in the press before, so I'm not going to put too much weight in it, but they are sort of gathering momentum, and some journalists who you might respect a bit more than others seem to believe it as well, that in the summer we will see more money being spent. Rightly so. I'm not giving the owners any credit for that, but we might see a summer similar to the ones we've seen in the past, rather than the recent one, which wasn't a big one. So you think that if we're seeing progress, and then in the summer you go out and you buy a Jadon Sancho, for example, or a Jack Grealish, I know he'd be open for that one, then next season can be even better, because we haven't really kicked on that much in terms of transfers. It's like, good players have come in, but it's not been like a massive boost where you go, you know.
But our squad has improved.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
You know what I mean?
And we need to think about this as a medium
we didn't get like that Grealish or that Upamecano where you think straight in the first team. Do you know what I mean? No messing.
Yeah.
We didn't quite get that player. We got
even,
some good
Tellez,
squad
who
players.
you thought would come in ahead of Shaw. It's not like he's the best left back in the world.
It's,
Same with
it's
Van der Beek,
debatable.
None of the players we brought in this summer are guaranteed first team players.
No.
Which it's helped the squad, and you look at the bench yesterday, we all mentioned it.
Bench was amazing yesterday.
Fantastic.
One of the best benches I've seen at United in a long time.
But yeah, there were no players who came in and were brought in to be every single week first team player, and we do need a couple of them.
And I was just going to say, and I think that we get that in the summer, the way things are going so far this summer, this season. Sorry, I know there's a long way to go before the end of it. We got one or two of those players that are straight in this first team, even if it looks as though what's going to happen is Paul Pogba's going to leave, then hopefully next season can be a bit.
We'll win the league
better.
and he'll decide to stay.
Do you reckon? I see me and him talking about this. I think it might be the opposite. I think go out and it's sort of like
we can actually get 75,
oh mate, if you can do that, then
mate, you know my thoughts.
With my blessing, and just on the way, just give Jack Grealish a call. I was going to say this is a big chance as well to kind of gauge where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is over the next course of the next 5-6 months, because the pressure of us having to keep up with Liverpool, also potentially them leveling up with us on 20 league titles. At the end of the season, you're going to be in a position where, right, how do we get back on top? And is this the manager? So between now and then, he's got to kind of prove that he has the ability to challenge. Not win it. He doesn't have to prove that, but challenging and closing that gap, which is what we needed to do to improve on last season. And he's got a great opportunity to show that, but that brings pressure with it.
If we can be within 10 points of first, I think that would be a fantastic season. Obviously, we want to win it, but we have been millions of miles away from top of the league.
You can't even count the second place really as a title challenge, because it wasn't. It was over.
19 points.
Yeah, it was over in October when City beat us at Old Trafford. It was done.
It was ridiculous.
We weren't catching. So the best we did was postpone it for a week, and they didn't have to win it, or they didn't win it in front of us. But that wasn't a title challenge. It wasn't like even remotely close. And again, we did that thing, didn't we? Where all right, if we go in this summer, then we might have a chance, and we didn't. Jose fell out with everyone. We didn't give him the signings he wanted. We almost imploded. And to the point where Oli came in, so what was almost this week, wasn't it? 2 years ago, whatever it was. So yeah, we haven't really had that. We haven't had that sort of closeness to the top. And you can always use stats and look at it different ways, but let's face it, we haven't been in a title challenge since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. We just haven't.
Never. Never. We haven't challenged for it, unfortunately.
You'd love one though, wouldn't you?
Talking about Jose,
mate.
do you think he's changed?
Jose?
Yeah. When you look at him, do you feel like, do you feel like, why didn't we get that Jose? Or do you think he is the same?
Think,
So you think he?
I think we did get that Jose for a year and a half or whatever it was. I think we did get that Jose that first year when Zlatan came in and first year we won the Europa League.
Yeah, Europa League cut, and obviously Zlatan, Pogba, Mkhitaryan all came in. I think.
Well, let's do this next season. Let's push for it.
Yeah.
Let's go. You know, we're going to be doing the thing that Jose always does, and then it fell apart for a few different reasons. He didn't get the players he wanted. We lost some silly games. We missed so many huge chances that season as well. It was incredible the amount of chances we missed. But obviously, every team misses chances. I think they've just got the same Jose, but he's slightly further on in his career. Let's be honest, he's fallen down a little bit of a notch as to where he'd fallen. You know, when was he at his peak?
Expectation levels.
Expectation levels. He was at his peak. Probably he did what he did at Chelsea, then he did what he did at Inter. That was peak Jose. Won that second Champions League at Inter, and then he went to Real Madrid and was decent but not great. Came back to Chelsea, did very well but not amazing. Then dropped to United, who, you know, as much as we see ourselves as the biggest club in the world, we hadn't won the league in 4 years when he arrived, or 3 years when he arrived, and then dropped again by not winning the league again and falling out with everyone again. And then he's picking up Spurs, who, the fact that he was cheering, arms in a huddle, jumping around for finishing 6th or whatever it was last season, that isn't what Jose Mourinho cheers. He cheers Premier League titles, European Cups. So he's dropped down a notch, and at some point, I think he has to go, actually, I've got to prove myself a little bit again. So let me try a bit harder. Let me put on a brave face for an extra 6 months. And they're seeing that. But he always used to say how good their squad was anyway. He's always liked Tottenham's squad. He used to say it as a pundit. So I think he's probably relatively happy for now. But it remains to be seen when they go through a really tough time, or when their expectations are lifted like they have been a little bit this season. If they now fail to get top 4 again, then we'll see if Jose is back to where he was.
I don't think I've got top 4.
I don't think, in answer to your question, I don't think you've got the Jose.
Has he changed?
I think he's changed.
Do you?
Do think he's changed?
For
the better?
No. What do you mean, like in sort of, is he declining almost?
Oh.
I think he's.
No, I meant, did you feel
sorry,
they've got a better Mourinho than what we had?
No. I think like Joe just said, you get with Jose, you get 2 seasons. Now, if you in those first 2 seasons, you know, at Chelsea, he won back-to-back titles. At Porto, he won the UEFA Cup, what it was called then, and then the Champions League. I think it might have been, to be fair, that might have been 3 seasons. Inter, I think, what was his second season, or his second season? I think it was his second season, he won the title and the treble. When he comes back to Chelsea, he does it again in his second season. I thought that would happen with us. I thought in our second season we'll win the title, and it didn't. Do you know what I mean? He had a good first season, and then the second season we were miles away. And I think at Spurs now, I think he's almost in his...
It's kind of his second because the extended season.
Yeah. But it feels almost like you're not even getting that anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like that this season might just be like, you know, they might get 5th or whatever, but that's not what you expect from Jose Mourinho. And I think the fact that he even went to Spurs indicates for me that he's just on his way out a little bit. And I think he could still win trophies, and he's still got the ability to win games tactically. He's still a very astute tactician, but I don't think he's at the levels he was. I don't think he's moved with the times. I don't think he has. And I think every job he's lost from Real Madrid onwards, he's been a little bit bitter about. Like, he's not been treated the way he wanted to be treated. He's not had the respect at Real Madrid. You know, Barca was always lauded over. He didn't get the respect he deserved for winning the league there. Comes back to Chelsea, ends up getting sacked, you know, as the most successful manager with his 3. Comes to United, ends up getting sacked, falls out of everyone. Do you know what I mean? It's making him more and more bitter and angry when he's not someone that needs to be more bitter and angry. He needs to be a bit more sort of
cheerful.
relaxed. Yeah, no, but he did.
Winning trophies ruined him because he's always had an arrogance, but he then, I think, took on a I'm right, you're wrong arrogance with players. And I think a lot of players can't accept that, especially when the game has changed. And I think he's done a very good job at Spurs, but I'd temper that by saying I think a lot of people have gone over the top with the praise of him. I think he's helped by the fact he's now living in London with his family. He seems to be a happier person.
That matters, doesn't it? Yeah,
I think he seems to be happier mentally and stuff, and that's good to see. But I don't think he's really changed. I still think the football's very similar. I still think he protects a 1-0 lead when you're at home, and you could batter teams. And I know some people are going to comment saying they're one of the top scorers in the league. They scored most of them goals against a 10-man Man United that were all over the place. Yeah. And I just feel that gradually, weeks like this will make players think.
Do you know when he said that comment?
We're sitting back and we've got 25.
Do you know when he said that against
still losing
against the Scousers, where he's like the best team lost?
that's to keep everyone in the dressing room
Yeah.
saying, you did well today.
Yeah,
So
but you're looking at it and you just going, I don't miss all this.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know why he's done it, but I just think I don't miss this at all. And I liked Jose when he was at United. I did up until almost to the very end. But I'm just like, no. And like you were saying, I think we had the Leicester game on yesterday upstairs, and it's just like, mate, not even turning up. It looks like, I know everyone can have an off day, but it's like, it's almost like the Jose
They play
Mourinho
like that
effect.
a lot.
Yeah, like just almost defending a 1-0 or 2-0 loss. It's like,
The good thing
what are you
he's got
doing?
is Harry Kane, who seems to be the leader of that dressing room, I think he will grow frustrated in terms of, we're not getting chances, I'm not getting in the box enough, I think he will, but I don't think he's the kind of person to throw his toys out of the pram.
I agree.
So he could, by keeping Kane on side for as long as possible, he could keep the dressing room on
And not
side.
to be nasty to Tottenham, but if it is, fine. That's a team that doesn't. A team full of players that don't expect to win trophies.
He's just gonna go football heritage.
Yeah.
He's like never
But
win
let's be
anything.
honest though. but I mean, honestly though, when he went to Chelsea
like-
the first time, he won loads of stuff. So great.
Yeah.
But when you go to Real Madrid, you're expected to win the league every year. When you go back to Chelsea, you're expected to win the league. When
Yeah.
you come to United, you're expected to win the league every year. When you go to Tottenham, can we get a League Cup once every 12 years?
Even Inter
Like,
at the
who's
time
gonna
were
fall out
like
with
If
it?
he had-
challenging right
On
at
what
the top.
grounds can anyone at Tottenham say he's failed? If he finishes 6th, it's a fine Tottenham
Yeah.
season. Like that.
If he had a
pressure isn't
Europa
there.
League Cup winning season, he'd be their greatest manager. ever.
Exactly.
I
If he
think the
if he
only
did
thing
what was
within
a
there-
relatively unsuccessful year at United, he would be their best manager.
I
in
think the only
recent years.
thing, and I think this will be in his head as well, is he'll want to improve on what Poch did there. So even though
Yeah.
you don't win anything, Poch can say, well, I finished second, I finished third. Do you know what I mean? I got
He's
the
gonna
Champions
try
League
win a
final.
cup.
Yeah,
Carling
if you win the league, exactly the League Cup, you can go, I delivered silverware, no one else has done that
I'll be
since
equal to
2011.
That's what I
Juan de
mean.
Ramos.
What-
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. The point I'm making is, if he wins a League Cup this season, it's the best season they've had in 10 years.
Yeah.
So the standards are so low, which goes back to your point has he dropped down?
No,
down
I
the
think-
years?
I think,
Yes.
yeah.
Because now he's at a club where you win a Carling Cup, you've got 5 more years. Like literally, that is pretty much it. You win anything, and you can stay as long as you want, mate.
And
I
he's-
do think that's probably not as true now because of the fact, because Tottenham, they've got the stadium and that, they do think they're a big club. So I think if they were to drop out of maybe not the Champions League spots, but Europa League spots and all that, and then the negativity, I can see if that was happening going. I don't think he'd get unlimited time, but I do think he'd get extra time than he would anywhere else.
The point I'm saying is, the standards that
He's
are
bigger than
expected
them.
of him are lower now than they've been since he left Porto.
And he's bigger than them.
Yes.
It's
Massive.
kind of like
That's-
City.
yeah.
with
Pep
Pep.
at City, yeah.
City will never pull the trigger on Pep because they feel like we're lucky to
Have the
him.
worst season you've ever had as a manager and the worst season we've had as a club in 7 years. Here's 2 more years.
Yeah, of
It's a
course, of
contract.
course. I mean,
And-
what he's even doing there is still a mystery to me, to be honest with you. Well, it's obviously money in it, but it's ridiculous. But yeah, with Jose, I think you've all sort of touched on it there. If you go back, someone has said to you, 5, 6, even 10 years ago, whatever, Jose will be at Tottenham. You'd be like, no, he won't. He's never going to manage there.
Jose
He'd be
beat
silly.
Tottenham and they're still about 4th.
Yeah, you'd be like, don't be silly. But yeah, I think that shows more of the decline of him rather than the growth of Tottenham. I
Yeah.
don't think they've suddenly become a major
They are
superpower.
roughly the same as they were before Poch.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
not like they've had
they averaged
massive
one
investment.
place higher, I think.
Yeah, I
which
know
is
they-
good.
yeah.
They've been good, but he's not taken over some monolith in Tottenham Hotspur.
It's just that small time mentality still makes me angry, man. When that game against the Scouts in the final, when they're all like celebrating before the game that they got there, and it's like, oh, even if we lose, it's still
the
a
Champions League
yeah. And I'm
final
like, mate, you're in a Champions League final. Like, do you ever look back on 2009, or either of you, or
hate
2011, and like with fond memories?
I can't
Not
even
watch it.
getting
It's
our
not sick.
asses handed
even
to
the
us.
run to the final.
Yeah, it's tainted.
It's kind of
innit?
like
What's that mean? Do you know what I mean? It's like
doesn't matter,
it
does it?
doesn't,
I think
does
we
it?
played Arsenal in one
Yeah.
of them. Like, yeah.
It's like
Fletcher got sent off,
Yeah.
and we were all saying if Fletcher didn't get sent off,
We'd have won
he'd have
that.
marked
We'd have
he'd have
beat
marked
the best team in the
Iniesta,
world.
Xavi, and Messi out of the game single-handedly. Ah well.
Looking up the table a little bit.
Up table.
Let's talk about Liverpool, who are doing very well at the moment.
what was that?
Who are doing very well at the moment.
Dune.
Who are doing
Doing
they're
very well.
Doing very
Doing.
well.
Okay, the new.
I wasn't trying to be Scottish there, but
Well, you did it anyway.
if it happens, they're doing very well. I'm
It's a
a
good
bit.
Fergie, that, isn't
It
it?
is. Well,
What does he always say? What's his little like?
the Vig.
There's no question about that. Never any question about that. Anyway, right. Liverpool are doing very well. No question about that.
Right.
I'm a little bit worried.
Great podcast as well.
drawn.
I was about to say that's why it's like podcast has only just dawned on me.
They've drawn 4, lost 1 this season.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit worried they might just end up going back to where they were last year. I've got a feeling they still might get 90 points this season.
Do you
That's what
reckon?
I'm trying to say. Yeah, because we all think they've only lost once. I know they got absolutely tactical chundered by Aston Villa, but other than that, they've lost that and they've drawn 4, which is more than they'd done at this point last season, admittedly. Well, there's people saying, like Andy Tate yesterday was saying, I think it'll be 75, 80 points.
I
wins
think
it.
we can.
It
I like
won't.
Andy. I know what his point he was making, but I don't think it's going to be
But I
75
think a lot
points.
of people have that opinion of, you know what, this year of all years, I still think Liverpool are going to
be
get a
80
lot
odd.
of points.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it'll be 90.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, because they look really strong and they've been so
But
good for the last 2 years.
You've got to think, the fixtures pile up, but it's going to impact a lot of teams, and there's going to be a lot more injuries, and there's going to. So I do agree with you. I think they're the team to beat still, but 90 points is hard. But 3 seasons in a row, it's difficult to do.
95 points plus.
Yeah, it's difficult to do.
Do you think this game coming up against them, like you were saying before, about the 20 titles and all that sort of thing, do you think that this is a massive game for United? And not just whether it's because when we play in Liverpool in a few weeks, not just because it's a chance for us to get closer to Liverpool, but someone needs to fucking take points off them. Like, if we want them to not win the league, regardless of it's us who wins it or not, someone has to take points off them. And like you said, Tottenham had the chance, fucked it up.
If we can get,
can't let
I'd
them
take
get
a
through
draw
that with
against
3
Leicester,
points.
beat Wolves, beat Villa. If we can get to that Liverpool game without losing, and then go there and draw or win.
If we end that unbeaten record they've got at home,
Don't even have to win
Do you
the
think
league.
that's when you could start having those? This team thinks they can do stuff.
That's
This
when
team
I'm
thinks they can do it.
absolutely
100%.
If we
shit.
don't
Yeah.
lose leading up to that game, like I said, we draw against Leicester, beat Wolves, win the other one, and then we beat Liverpool away. Do you think that maybe would be a good time to actually go? There is a chance here now.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, there is
Yeah.
a chance.
Because we'd be above them at that point.
Yeah.
if you go to Anfield, albeit with only 2,000 people there, and they one is it or not been beaten in 67
I doubt there'll be
games.
people there by the time that game happens. But yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. But if you can go there and get a result, then you have to start thinking about that as a title challenge. You have to. Otherwise, what are you thinking? Oh, it's an anomaly. Can't believe we beat them. Bloody hell.
So that's when we can
Go back
officially
to
start to say
chasing
it.
for 4th now.
That's
The
when
trouble
we can
is,
start to
though,
say it.
Yeah. yeah.
It's like
Right
the
in
Leicester,
your diaries.
the Leicester
When we
game
beat
coming
Liverpool.
up.
When? I like that.
The
attitude,
Leicester
Joe,
game
well
coming
done.
up. It's like we could lose that and then go beat Liverpool. That's the kind of team we are. Like we'll lose against Villa but beat Liverpool.
Would you
My
say
worry
that
is,
right
though,
now?
that-
I'd take it.
I would.
I'd take it all day long. But like, do you know what I mean? It's Jack Grealish scoring.
Oh, hello. He'd take that. He'd take it if we drew with Liverpool.
The thing with Liverpool is though, they are the one team that
I'm not sitting next to you who played Villa, by the way.
he won't know who to cheer for. The thing is, they are the one team that even during our good form last season, even during we beat City 3 times, we beat Chelsea 3 times, we didn't beat Liverpool.
It was so frustrating that game at Old Trafford as well.
Yeah.
Because
We should have won that.
We should have won that. I think Ollie got it wrong, taking off Marcus, personally.
Yeah, and it
Was that when
ball
Marcus played with a
watching.
broken back though?
Was it
No,
Rojo?
no,
Was
no.
it Rojo who was just ball watching, got dragged to the ball, and then they just
Yeah,
played it
yeah,
over?
I
Yeah,
think-
but Rojo weren't meant to play. Remember, it's supposed to be Axel.
He got injured in the
I've
ball,
never
didn't
enjoyed a game of football less because I was just constantly looking at the time. Going,
Yeah.
"Whoa, 10 minutes ago. 8
But I
minutes
think that
ago,
would be a
and then
real marker
they
of
equalised.
where we are this season. Get to that game within touching distance.
Yeah,
Then fucking
definitely.
do it.
And I think we have to go into that game as well.
Touching distance.
Because one thing, going back to Jose, do you remember when we went to Anfield and we got the 0-0? And that we was 4-0 FC up
Killed my
until
whole
then.
vibe.
It killed the team. And if you look like, it's like our sort of fortunes went in different directions. Klopp, who'd not won in 8, ended up going to a Champions League final. Jose, who'd been beating everyone 4-0, everyone thought, oh, he's finally the Jose Mourinho we wanted. Just fell out of everyone. Well, that was the beginning of the end. I know it wasn't the end. But things just started to go wrong. I think we go to Anfield this time with the right mentality, go at him instead of like, oh, let's just try and get a 0-0 and hopefully, get a cheeky goal. Then things could be on the upward trajectory.
Is that? I think we've been told to wrap up because
I just heard mumbling in my
It'd
ear.
be nice if you turned the volume up. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I
Like,
thought it was
you
me
know.
because I'm old. That's why I wasn't being rude when I was checking my phone. I thought there might be some
Fucking
message of some
knobhead.
sorts, but none of it made any sense.
Should we wrap it up then?
No, because we got to do Wally of the Week first.
Okay, great.
Wally?
Great question.
I got a Wally.
Go on then.
I got 2 Wallies.
Oh, I know mine.
You can pick from 2
Go on.
Wallies.
Go on.
We've got Arsenal Wallies, and we got Leeds Wallies. Big
So
Wally
that
is
is that's difficult. That's a hard one.
You could chuck up some clips. If
Hard
you want,
Wallies to choose
We know who the Wallies are.
It's a good finish, but it's too easy. Martial now. He's played in McTominay. McTominay's made it fucking 2.
Fucking laugh! Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off!
Embarrassing.
That's shocking, that.
Yeah.
We got the Leeds fan on the watch along.
Do you know what though?
Have we got the Arsenal fan on the
No,
watch
I'm
along?
going to go with the Arsenal fan on the watch along. I'll tell you why. The Leeds fan on the watch along is obviously Wally, but it's hilarious. But I get it because I've lost my head, and I get it. He's gutted, and
he looks like a real.
Yeah.
Like it's.
He's not
real to
contrived.
him,
He's not contrived. He's not planned this, or he's not thinking, if this happens, I'm going to do this. It's proper. He's lost his shizzle, and he loses it, and it's hilarious, and I love it. But in some ways, I have to sort of, at least I'll give him a slight bit of credit for the fact he's just a genuine fan, showing genuine emotions, even if his club and his team are absolute scumbags. The other one, I think there's an element of, this is what I might do if this happens. Yes, I'll do that.
Performative streak.
Yes,
so
I'm not
performative
going to ask for
on the
permission
fans,
this
aren't
time. I'm just going to break something. Slightly break it by placing it rather. It's like when David Brent puts his magazine in the bin. Oh, look at that! I'll just make the cover of Paper Talk there and pull a silly face.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I was just putting that in the bin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brought in some twigs to snap.
Yeah,
I'm so bad.
Yeah,
like, come on.
It's just contrived drivel. So I'm going to go with the
Arsenal
Arsenal Wally.
Arsenal clowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, who
All
you
of
going
us.
with? Yeah. I
All in
think.
agreement.
Yeah.
That's the quickest Wally of the week. The reason I left it open was because Arsenal fans kind of hug Wally of the week, don't they? They get it a lot.
Yeah, it's every week, and then you two take him to the cleaners in Premier League piss take as well.
Yeah.
Have you heard about Premier League?
Yeah, a little. To be fair, I actually watch it.
It's good, isn't it? Just as a late nominee, and he won't win. Just as I said before, I didn't like how Michael Richards suggested that Scott McTominay was a shit player that happened to have a good game on Match of the Day. Just thought it was a bit disrespectful.
I just don't like Michael Richards.
What have you got
as
to
a
do
pundit.
to get a little bit of respect?
Was it,
Do you know what I mean?
no,
Come on.
He's a very good player. Well, he had a very good game. Like, piss off.
McTominay's already
I
had
bet
a
you don't
better
even
career
watch him
than
that much. I bet
Well
you don't
said.
even see him play. He just wants to. He's probably just seen on Twitter that some people don't like Scott McTominay. So he's acting as though, well, we all know he's shit, lads, but he happened to have a good game.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
I didn't
I
see
noticed
that.
that. I remember.
Yeah.
When you said it, I just thought. I
But
remember
yeah,
that.
there was a bit of that going on there. I saw on social media everyone was kicking off because it
The
was like,
pussy holes. You know what it is, yeah? All of them pricks. When it's Spurs, oh, fucking Mourinho's back. He looks so nice. I look at Spurs. But when United win, it's like through gritted teeth. Like,
Or
that's
And
what I
it was-
mean.
and it was
Everyone's
good.
about Leeds, how good
Jimmy
Leeds
Floyd
were.
Hasselback was talking about how good Leeds were.
just been
Even
absolutely
Gary Neville's
battered.
at it, bruv. You fucking hate Leeds, Gary. Remember where your bread's buttered? Fucking piping them off when they're getting battered 6-2. Who does that?
'Cause everyone
Fucking
looks-
Steve Bruce don't get battered 6. Yeah, he does. But I mean, you know, he wouldn't set up to get battered 6-2. We've been saying all week they're going to come to us, open up, and it's going to be full of goals. Innit?
Exactly. And we were right.
Pussy holes, man. All of them.
so that not a bad nominee by the end there by me.
Yeah,
Well
it's
done, man.
correct.
Michael
Well done.
Richards and then brackets pundits general.
Yeah, because I saw the whole like you were saying, everyone lording over Bielsa. And
Third
Leeds.
manager in the world.
Oh fuck.
Is Ollie first then?
Yeah, well, it should be
I mean,
by that rationale.
he ain't done nothing decent since Athletic Bilbao. You know what I mean? Does winning the championship deserve something? No.
When they bottled it
If you
the
were
year
so
before.
good, you wouldn't
Yeah.
be in the fucking championship.
Well said.
Anyway,
Otherwise, Jack Grealish should have got Ballon d'Or nomination when he helped Villa get promoted.
we've lost
Innit?
him, Jay. We've lost him.
Remember
Do you
Frank-
ever get Ballon d'Or nominee for being in the championship?
Not that I know of, no.
But you can get Ballon d'Or for managers.
What I remember as well is Frank Lampard outwitted him at Derby.
Frank Lampard.
Because I know what you
Fun
think of him.
time,
I know what you think
Frankie.
of him.
We're going to call it a day there. We'll get Adam his tablets and he'll calm right down. Thank you very much for joining us for the Paddock podcast. We'll be back again next week and hopefully we will have Stephen Howson on the show as well. Thank you very much for joining me, Jay and Adam. Thank you for joining us at home. We'll see you in a bit.